Are we ready?
We are ready.
Call the meeting to order. Rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, welcome to our February 16th meeting of the Broadwater County Commissioner. We'll open the meeting up with public comment. Is there any public comment?
My name is Michael Stevenson. I'm a retired social worker, LCSW. I've worked in hospitals, ICUs, surgery, medicine. The mask mandate, this is a PO2 gauge. When I got up this morning, it was 97%. When I put these masks on, it goes to 87%. I would like us to, at some point in the future, consider doing away with the masks. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Any other public comment? Seeing none, we will move on to, let's do the minutes for February 8th, 2021.
I will move to accept the minutes from February 8th, 2021.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the minutes of February 8th, 2021. Any further discussion? Any public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries. We have claims. Approved claims list in the amount of $122,238.38. Is there a motion to approve?
Also move to accept the claims for the amount given.
I will second.
Motion been made and seconded to approve claims and set amount. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed, same. Motion carries. We have payroll claims in the amount of $191,622.60.
I will move to pay payroll in the amount of $191,622.60.
I'll second that motion.
Motion been made and seconded to pay claims and set amount. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries. Have claims in the amount of $159,698.13.
I'll move to accept the claims for the amount stated.
I will second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve claims and set amount. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries. Letter from the Montana Department of Revenue, Blackfoot Communications, protest of taxes with the amount of money the county will have to pay back to Blackfoot. letter from the Montana Association of Counties concerning the NACO membership dues and National Association of Counties. This is paid with part of our MACO dues. Pamphlet from the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission concerning Toston Dam. This will be in the Commissioner's office for review if anyone wants to look at it. Okay, let's see. Move on to the discussion and accept Silos Master Plan. This is the Silos Master Plan that was approved with money from the Trust Board and from the county, prepared by Robert Prescia and Associates. They did an excellent job keeping us in the loop about everything that was going on and had really good communication, excellent planned meetings. She had several public meetings. Everything was very well done.
I guess I'd like to comment on the process as well. It was very well done by Robert Petcha and Associates. And I'd like to thank everybody that participated in helping to develop this plan. I think it's a great framework for us to move forward. And I know hopefully in the partnership with Bureau of Reclamation and others that are interested in seeing this recreation area develop. I'm looking forward to that.
I would just add, I believe it's on the county website now. If it won't be, it'll be on the new one. So anybody at any time can go on and see the final master plan.
That's right. That has been posted, right, Nicole?
That is correct.
Yep.
Thank you.
And the website is still live until the end of February. If you've
Okay.
not got their county website, it's
Right.
Silos Master Plan.
Okay. All right, perfect. I guess I would make a motion, Mr. Chairman, that we accept the Silos Master Plan.
Is there a second?
I will second that.
Is there any further public comment? Not, we'll go ahead with the vote. All those in favor of approving the Silos Recreation Areas Master Plan? Aye.
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 Opposed, the same. Motion carries. Okay, next, Community Development Planner Nicole Brown, final plat approval, Lake Vista Lot 5.
And I'm going to stay sitting here if that's okay for a second.
And then I'll just pass documents around.
This way. Hi.
Thank you. I'll just hand these to you if that's okay, and then if you can pass them on around. Just, yeah, that's just one set, yeah. All right, condition number 1, plans for sewage treatment and water supply shall be submitted to the Montana Department of Environmental Quality for review and approval. The certificate of subdivision approval shall be filed with the final plat. So what you have coming around here is the DEQ approval. This also meets condition number 2, which states the stormwater drainage plan shall be submitted to DEQ for review and recommendation.
You know if they've started that work yet, as far as for putting in the stormwater retention ponds or anything like that?
I believe that was all done previously. Is
That-
that correct?
that's already-
All
Yeah,
of the
that,
stormwater
yeah,
has been-
because all of this has been through here
Yeah,
before.
yeah,
And that was a condition of approval.
Right.
They
I
had that
believe
done.
it's all shown on a map of where the power boxes are.
yeah. I thought that it was. I just was
And
just
Late
curious.
below
summer,
are
early fall.
retention basins. I haven't looked at it.
Condition number 3, the applicant will be required to submit the preliminary and final plat drawings in electronic format to Broadwater County in ArcGIS, AutoCAD, or MicroStation format. Additional materials may be requested by the county in electronic format to facilitate review of application materials. So what you have here is verification that these have been emailed to me. And also, this is that plat that Bernadette was speaking of that shows the power boxes, the retention basins, and road easements. Number 4, plans for the location and installation of individual mailboxes shall be reviewed and approved by the United States Postal Service prior to installation. So this is a letter from the USPS postmaster here in Townsend. Number 5, the subdivision plat shall provide a 60-foot public road easement for the continuation of roads between adjacent subdivided and unsubdivided properties for the convenient movement of traffic, connection of neighborhoods, effective provision of emergency services, and provision of utilities. And this is showing that easement to the south, yes. Number 6, the extension of Alaska Trail must be designed in accordance with Broadwater County subdivision road standards and stamped by a professional engineer. A letter from the PE shall be provided to the county stating that the road and any improvements have been constructed in accordance with the approved plans and specifications, and that he or she has completed an inspection of the road and any improvements.
Is there a new road profile now, Bernadette?
And
Okay. Okay.
this was Great West's assessment based on WWC's as-built. That should have been with that condition. Sorry, I had it pinned to the next one, but I believe you've all seen this email.
So another question, so are there plans to develop lot 1 of that subdivision beyond that cul-de-sac that's there, do we know?
Nothing submitted at this time, no.
Okay,
Nothing
okay,
that we started or anything.
all right.
Number 7, prior to filing the final plat, the applicant shall adequately fund or improve a proportionate share of Alaska Trail from its intersection with US Highway 287 to the first cul-de-sac. The road improvements would have to be constructed to a minimum of Broadwater County subdivision road standards and must be certified as meeting county subdivision road standards by a registered engineer. All specifications and requirements of the approved plan shall be met. And so this is for the improvements to the first cul-de-sac, the proportionate share of improvements. Number 8, the applicant and the Fire Protection Authority having jurisdiction shall use their best efforts to draft a fire protection plan specifically for this subdivision in accordance with Broadwater County subdivision regulations. The plan shall be equally acceptable to the FPAHJ, the applicant, and the county governing authority. The plan shall adequately address the fire risk analysis, all findings of fact, and appropriate mitigation measures. In the event the parties are unable to come to agreement by the final plat submittal, the applicant shall become eligible to provide the per lot cash in lieu fee for water supply as may be defined in the Broadwater County subdivision regulations in effect at the time of submittal. So what you have coming around is a signed and approved fire plan signed by Fire Chief Ed Schindel. He will accept the $1,000 per lot cash in lieu fee at time of lot sale. So also attached to this document is a lien and a lien release that will be filed with each parcel. Number 9, prior to any development and/or soil disturbance, a weed management plan for the proposed development shall be submitted to the County Weed District for review and approval. All specifications and requirements of the approved plan shall be met. And you'll notice this is using the old weed plan. That was because it was submitted previous to the new weed plan being developed and approved. There is also a note on there that it does need to be signed by the developer, or the owner, I'm sorry. He will be, hopefully, weather pending, traveling to Townsend tomorrow for signature. But none of these documents will be recorded until he is able to be here to sign them.
So moving forward, there is a new weed board plan.
That is correct. You may still see some, well, you will still see some older ones that were submitted previous to the adoption of the new lead plan. I'm going to start on 10 before you move that document around the table, just because it is a lengthy condition here. Number 10, the book and page reference to the restrictive covenants filed with the county clerk and recorder shall be indicated on the face of the final plat. In addition, restrictive covenants, revocable or alterable only with the consent of the Board of County Commissioners, shall be placed upon the property and shall provide for the following. A, per the subdivision application, all lots shall be used for residential purposes only. B, notification of a potential health risk from radon concentrations, and that such risk can be evaluated through soil tests and mitigated through radon abatement techniques incorporated into structures. C, a notification that all dwelling units within the subdivision should be constructed to specifications which meet or exceed equivalent provisions in the applicable state building code for the seismic zone, which is Zone 3. D, notification of the potential degradation of existing emergency services due to the potential for growth in a rural area. E, an additional, replacement, or relocated utility line shall be installed underground in accordance with county subdivision regulations unless otherwise determined by the utility provided. F, a no-access restriction along U.S. Highway 287 with the exception of the approach onto Highway 287 for the internal access road. G, any exterior lighting shall be directed downward to minimize visibility beyond the property lines. H, notification of the presence of agricultural operations in the vicinity. I, a waiver of the right to protest to join a special district for the purpose of providing community water and/or wastewater treatment system improvements and/or maintenance. J, a restrictive covenant binding the landowner, any heirs, successors, and assigns, and all future owners of property within the subdivision, agreeing therein to hold Broadwater County harmless and indemnify Broadwater County from all claims, demands, obligations, suits, causes of action, damages, and liability, including the county's costs and attorney's fees arising in any manner whatsoever out of or relating to the existence, use, operation, repair, and or maintenance of the following. Subitem 1, earthquake fault zone and any seismic activity. And number 2, water availability. K, each lot shall be maintained in a clean, attractive, and weed-free manner. Noxious weeds must be pulled, sprayed, or cut prior to seed maturity. L, a prohibition of the storage of foods, garbage, or continuous feeding of domestic pets outdoors or other activities that creates an attractive nuisance for wildlife species. Hay or alfalfa storage and feeding are not prohibited where livestock are permitted. M, lots shall only allow for livestock if a small acreage livestock management plan is reviewed and approved by the county extension agent and submitted to the county. Each lot owner shall be required to create and adhere to their own livestock management plan. N, all cats and dogs must be restrained, penned, or otherwise under the control of their owner at all times. Prior to filing the final plat, the following improvements shall be installed or otherwise guaranteed. A, roads. B, any necessary improvements required by the stormwater drainage plan, weed management plan, fire protection plan, or approach permits. C, utilities abutting and available to each lot. Electrical and telephone shall be underground. So this is another rendition of the plat map showing each of those improvements having been installed.
Were those conditions supposed to be on here, Nicole?
Which
Those
conditions?
last two that you read?
Covenants?
They're coming after N?
N is the only one, no.
Okay.
Debbie has condition number 11 regarding
Oh,
roads,
okay.
stormwater utilities.
Okay.
No, the commission required covenants end at N, as in Nicole. Condition number 12, prior to filing the final plat, the applicant shall A, provide proof that all taxes and special assessments assessed and levied on the property are paid for the current tax year, including any past delinquencies. You have a tax bill showing that all taxes have been paid for the current tax year. final condition coming around here, 12B, states provide documentation, an abstract of title or plating certificate showing that the applicant is the lawful owner of the property with the apparent authority to subdivide the same, showing the names of lien holders or claimants of record, and the written consent to the subdivision by the owners of the land, if other than the applicant, and any lien holders or claimants of record against the land. This plating certificate shows that EDJ LLC is the lawful owner of the property. And that concludes the list of conditions.
Thank you, Nicole. Is there any other comments from the commissioners or questions?
I did have one. I'm trying to remember back when we first went through this, that there was there supposed to be a 60-foot easement between, let me find what I'm looking for.
To the south,
To the-
yeah, it
yeah.
goes through that cul-de-sac at the end.
Yeah, it started at that second cul-de-sac, if I remember right. Is that correct?
That's correct, and I believe it's showing. It's on this plat here. I don't know what condition it would be, what item. Stand by.
It was 5.
Okay. So is it showing on that plat there, on that rendition of the
The
plat?
power line easement?
No, not
But
the
I
power
mean,
line.
I see that. I guess I'm not seeing the, am I not looking for it?
Here. This highlighted.
It's up at this one here. Okay. I was looking for it down here, but it's that one. Gotcha. Okay. All right. Perfect.
Yep. Any other questions or discussion? To entertain a motion to approve the final plat for Silos Lake Vista Estates, or no, for Lake Vista Lot 5. Jesus.
I'll make the motion to approve final plat for Lake Vista Lot 5. They've met the criteria listed in 763608 of the MCA. And they have also taken care of the road corrections that were requested. And we appreciate them doing that. So,
I will second the motion.
Motion been made and second to approve final plat for Lake Vista Lot 5. Is there any further discussion? Any public comment? Not, we'll take a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries.
I don't have the milers.
Oh,
I left the milers in my office in my haste to make the trek across the road.
Okay.
So I will have them on your table for you to sign.
So next up is the final plat approval for Silos Lakeview Estates.
All right, condition number 1. Plans for sewage treatment and water supply shall be submitted to the Montana Department of Environmental Quality for review and approval. The certificate of subdivision approval shall be filed with the final plat. And similarly, condition number 2, a stormwater drainage plan shall be submitted to DEQ for review and recommendation. All specifications and requirements of the approved plan shall be met. So coming around is the DEQ approval with the stormwater drainage plan approval.
if I remember right, there was an easement had need for Lot 3, is that correct? For the drain field?
That is correct, and that's, should be showing on the DEQ approval. I have it showing on the, which is this? Yeah, as part of the layout, it does have an easement for it across. Mine in front of me here aren't labeled with parcel numbers, but the property to the north in any case.
Mm-hmm.
And that is because of topography. Condition 3, the extension of Beaver Drive must be constructed and approved by a professional engineer licensed in the state of Montana prior to final plat approval. So for the extension of Beaver Drive, because of the weather, the developer is choosing to submit a subdivision improvements agreement. With that subdivision improvements agreement, there is a bank letter of credit attached to this document, the one you have coming around there. With condition 3 is a copy. I actually have the original that will be coming around as condition number 12. With that subdivision improvements agreement, a county official will sign, the landowner will sign. And that's at 125% of the cost. So you'll notice that that bid, I believe, is $43,112.50 is the financial guarantee. In the top right, I believe it says that. In any case, that's also to cover the installation of utilities. So there's a bid there from BSC for the extension of Beaver Drive. And that 27,000, I should have wrote this number down before I passed it around to you. But on that, yes, thank you. 27,987.50 is 125% of the cost of the installation of the extension.
Okay. And I assume they're planning to get going with that when the weather gets,
I think
To a
they're
point
very
they can do
anxious
that.
to get going, correct,
Yeah.
yes. Difficult to sell lots without the installation or the construction of the road. So
Yeah.
I think we're all ready for it to get nicer.
and I think too, Nicole, we talked about this a little bit.
We
And
did.
maybe it's important for everybody to understand that the final plat won't really be released until after they've done these improvements, right?
The final plat will be released. The financial
The
security
financial.
guarantee will not be
Will
released.
not be released, right?
And that will be a subsequent commission meeting.
Right,
So the way that that will work, a official from the county, which I assume Chairperson Delger will sign off on the subdivision improvements agreement, as well as Mr. Smith, the owner of the property. Once they believe that they have installed that, the engineer has signed off on it, stamped the plans for the construction of the road, we will schedule to come back before this commission to release
okay,
the lien on the financial security guarantee.
okay.
And that does have a deadline of 2 years.
Okay,
So they have to get the work done within 2 years. Which I again, anticipate it will be as soon as you possibly can. Get out there and get to work, so. Condition number 4, prior to any development, a driveway application and approach permit shall be requested from the County Road Department for the extension of Beaver Drive. All requirements of an approved permit shall be met. So here you have a check along with the approach permit, and I will pass that off to our Public Works Director if you choose to approve this for final plan. going to send around condition 5 and 6. Condition 5 states the applicant shall contribute 2/50ths of the cost to upgrade the existing road Cactus Lane to Broadwater County subdivision road standards for a number 1 local road. It should be required that they obtain a current estimate. Similarly, condition number 6, the applicant shall contribute 3/50ths of the cost to upgrade the existing road Beaver Drive to Broadwater County subdivision road standards for a number 1 local road. It shall be required that they obtain a current estimate. So you have here 2 estimates, one for Beaver Drive, one for Cactus Drive, with their proportionate share allocated there, and a check in the amount of $14,525. Thank you. And I'm moving on to condition 7 because that's, I do not have a tangible item to pass around. The applicant will be required to submit the preliminary and final plat drawings in electronic format to Broadwater County in ArcGIS, AutoCAD, or MicroStation format. Additional materials may be requested by the county in electronic format to facilitate review of application materials. And I have received those. Number 8, plans for the location and installation of individual mailboxes shall be reviewed and approved by the United States Postal Service prior to installation. And the developer's representative has been working with our postmaster here at the local post office. She has requested the NDVUs to be placed at one location, or 5 single mailboxes at one location. In order to receive mail delivery, each landowner will have to install those at their approved location.
Or it'll be one with
a key, correct.
at the developer's discretion or
That's correct.
choice.
The good thing about mail delivery is you really are at the mercy of the postmaster. You don't do it the way they want. Number 9. Another hefty one there. The applicant and the Fire Protection Authority having jurisdiction shall use their best efforts to draft a fire protection plan specifically for this subdivision, in accordance with Broadwater County subdivision regulations. The plan should be equally acceptable to the FPHJ, the applicant, and the county governing authority. The plan shall adequately address the fire risk analysis, all findings of fact, and appropriate mitigation measures. In the event the parties are unable to come to agreement by the final plat submittal, the applicant shall become eligible to provide the per lot cash and lieu fee for water supply, as may be defined in the Broadwater County subdivision regulations in effect at the time of submittal. And attached to this fire plan, there are 2 checks. One is for $1,000, one's for $4,000. The developer decided instead of doing at time of lot sale that he would just pay the $5,000 to the fire department at this time. Condition 10, prior to any development and/or soil disturbance, a weed management plan for the proposed development shall be submitted to the County Weed District for review and approval. All specifications and requirements of the approved plan shall be met. So coming around is the signed and approved weed management plan. This is utilizing the newly adopted format. I'm going to begin with condition number 11. It's the covenants, so I'm going to begin with that as you're passing documents around still. Number 11, the book and page reference to the restrictive covenants filed with the county clerk and recorder shall be indicated on the face of the final plat. In addition, restrictive covenants, revocable or alterable only with the consent of the Board of County Commissioners, shall be placed upon the property and shall provide for the following. Subitem A, per the subdivision application, all lots shall be used for residential purposes only. B, notification of the potential health risk from radon concentrations, and that such risk can be evaluated through soil tests and mitigated through radon abatement techniques incorporated into structures. C, a notification that each driveway access for individual lots will require an approved driveway application and approach permit prior to installation of a private driveway onto the county road, Cactus Lane, or Beaver Drive. D, a notification that all dwelling units within the subdivision should be constructed to specifications which meet or exceed equivalent provisions in the applicable state building code for this seismic zone, which is Zone 3. E, notification of the potential degradation of existing emergency services due to the potential for growth in a rural area. F, any additional replacement or relocated utility lines shall be installed underground in accordance with county subdivision regulations unless otherwise determined by the utility provided. G, any exterior lighting shall be directed downward to minimize visibility beyond the property lines. H, notification of the presence of agricultural operations in the vicinity. I, a waiver of the right to protest to join a special district for the purpose of providing community water and/or wastewater treatment system improvements and/or maintenance. J, a restrictive covenant binding the landowner, any heirs, successors, and assigns, and all future owners of property within the subdivision, agreeing therein to hold Broadwater County harmless and indemnify Broadwater County from all claims, demands, obligations, suits, causes of action, damages, and liability, including the county's costs and attorney's fees, arising in any manner whatsoever out of or relating to the existence, use, operation, repair, and maintenance of the following. Subitem 1, earthquake fault zone and any seismic activity, and number 2, water availability. K, each lot shall be maintained in a clean, attractive, and weed-free manner. Noxious weeds must be pulled, sprayed, or cut prior to seed maturity. L, a prohibition of the storage of foods, garbage, or continuous feeding of domestic pets outdoors or other activities that creates an attractive nuisance for wildlife species. Hay or alfalfa storage and feeding are not prohibited where livestock are permitted. M, lots shall only allow for livestock if a small acreage livestock management plan is reviewed and approved by the county extension agent and submitted to the county. Each lot owner shall be required to create and adhere to their own livestock management plan. N, all cats and dogs must be restrained, penned, or otherwise under the control of their owner at all times. O, address numbers shall be clearly marked at the driveway entrance to each lot and be easily identified from the road. Condition 12A and B. Prior to filing the final plat, the following improvements shall be installed or otherwise guaranteed. A, any necessary improvements required by the stormwater drainage plan, weed management plan, fire protection plan, or approach permits. And B, utilities abutting and available to each lot. Electrical and telephone shall be underground unless otherwise determined by the utility provider. So what you have coming around here is the original financial security guarantee to be signed by a county official and the developer. The amount of $43,112.50 is to cover the cost of power at $15,125, and $27,987.50 is for the extension of Beaver Drive.
So who will do this inspection at the end? Are we gonna have our engineering do that, or?
No, that was non-typical to have our engineer
Okay.
inspect the road. With the previous development that we just reviewed.
Right.
with Vista, no, the developers will be responsible for hiring an engineer to sign
Okay.
off on the road. The last two items, moving on. 13, prior to filing the final plat, the applicant shall A, provide proof that all taxes and special assessments assessed and levied on the property are paid for the current tax year, including any past delinquencies. And the second page of that packet shows that all taxes have been paid. And B, provide documentation, an abstract of title or plating certificate showing that the applicant is the lawful owner of the property with the apparent authority to subdivide the same, showing the names of lien holders or claimants of record and the written consent to the subdivision by the owners of the land, if other than the applicant, and any lien holders or claimants of record against the land. And from Rocky Mountain Title there, showing that Douglas L. Smith is the owner of the property with the authority to subdivide the same. And that concludes my list of conditions.
Are there any public comments or commission comments on this final plat approval?
No, to me?
Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the final plat for the Silos Lakeview Estates.
I
I would move to accept the final plat approval for Silos Lakeview Estates.
I'll second the motion.
Motion's been made and second to approve final plat. Is there any further discussion? Any public comment? Take a vote. All in favor? Aye. Opposed, same. Motion carries. So we will move to the 1040 department head updates, accounting, Debbie Kelly.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank
Good
you.
luck.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning, Deb. Thank you for coming over here on this snowy morning.
Yeah. As long as the wind's not blowing, it's all right.
That's right.
It's actually kind of peaceful when it comes down like this.
Thanks, Bernadette.
Thank you. I got a couple of MOUs in the mail Friday from Rocky Mountain Development for the senior center, and I'll read their letter. They're doing need signatures. Rocky Mountain Development Center was able to help the senior center apply for an area on aging grant to help provide COVID safety stuff. So they're kind of working, and we're kind of the pass through for them, and I'm helping them because Elsie, she's kind of lost. So I'm working with them. Carol, I believe, was her name at the senior center. We're working together on this. Elsie did get $750, and they put it in their account, not realizing it was part of the 15% match. So she brought it over last week. Then I got this in the mail Friday. So that was going to be one of my updates to help with the senior center. It's the main part of the grant's like $4,926, and then our 15% match is $750. So I'm sure Mike will get the joy of helping Elsie and put all that stuff in. So I'll keep you in the loop with all that. The work's got to be done by April 30th. Kind of outlines in the grants. Any unused money will have to be returned as outlined in the MOUs.
Did they have an idea what they're planning to do? Did they discuss that?
I don't even think Elsie really
Okay.
quite understands. I think Carol's been trying to help her, but bring it up to more safety compliant. I know they need some modernization stuff over there. I'm sure there'll be some maybe hand sanitizing stations and screen guards maybe when they serve their foods and things. I'm not sure. She didn't say. I don't know all the details. I didn't get too much into that. And I do have the self-return envelope here when we're done. So I went through all our revenues and our expenditures just to kind of see where we're at. And so as of January 31st, a complete month, in theory we should have been at 58% in wages and spending and 58% in operational. We're actually 51% collectively spent for payroll and wages, and we've only 50% collectively on operational spending. The one caveat to that doesn't reflect is a lot of our operating supply lines and contracted services we've gone over as we expected for all the COVID things we've needed to help mitigate some of the COVID and adapt and deal with that. We're not quite halfway, we're a little over halfway through the year, so depending on the variant and different things and how well the vaccines kick in for us, I don't see much change yet. The other item to note is the juvenile transport. We have had another minor go to Cascade. So we'll have to deal with that here come due budget amendments. We didn't budget anything, we just kind of paid off the negative and had zero balance at budget time because we didn't know what we'd have.
What was this one again?
The juvenile transport for
Oh,
minors in
that's right.
detention,
We did-
Cascade County.
We paid off like $12,000 or something.
Well, now we're back in the negative, I want to say another 9,000, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, so I did start as I was doing this, kind of got up budget amendment started, so that'll be here coming in a couple of weeks. I'll get it as soon as I can get it finished. It's actually looking pretty good considering we're over halfway through the year. It's not as huge and we've done really good this year at spending what we said we were going to budget for, and I don't have to go outside the, oh, I didn't know I'm going to need to spend this, so I'm really happy with that. It's, one good thing that comes out of this is it helps me find things that might have been charged to the wrong fund or the wrong account, which means I don't have to do a budget amendment on that particular line, so that's helped. We did get our Board of Investment loans paid off and sent last week. So that one's done, and Doug and I worked with the auditors to make sure all the right entries were done to that. And now it's just kind of a wait and game till the end of the year to see if, when he has investments come due, that we need to kind of replenish the PILT. But the only ones that could cover that was general fund and PILT. And when we did budget, we just kind of decided PILT, because that's where we've been taking it, all the interest and principal payments. Then we can cash that out when the time comes. So we're looking good on that one. Revenues, we're at 50%. I would hope we would have more for those that paid their whole full year. But I'm sure that those that did, it's kind of offsetting those that didn't. So we're probably right where we should be at 50%. Yeah, it's kind of been a tight year. And we don't have any applicants for our clerical job yet. We're working on making some revisions to that
Okay.
to include some of the extra duties that we're going to incorporate. And looking at a 32-hour position, so they're eligible for benefits, health benefits. We're just not getting applicants. So, and I guess I get it. It's kind of, there is some challenges to it.
Sure.
Yeah, so, and if there's going to be some nighttime for people, I think they're looking for something to offset that. Any specific questions
No,
from you?
I guess in regard to that finance assistant position, I mean, I know we've talked about some different options, and that would allow that position to have more hours. And,
Yeah,
I guess we'll have to continue that discussion. But
yeah. We saw some pros and cons and tweaks to delineate exact what we want and expect. And it's amazing, all the stuff that Leona did for other people, her absence is missed.
Yeah.
Just that little bit. We didn't realize how much we needed help until we had it and didn't have it again. So, it's important.
Well, I think there's some things that we still want to accomplish
Yes.
from the finance side
Yeah,
to help streamline your operation a little bit and kind of relieve some of those pressures that are on you guys. So
Yeah.
we'll continue to work on that.
yep. Any other questions?
Thanks, Dan.
Projects that,
Thank you very
wondering
much.
what we're doing, where we're at, and
Yeah. Right.
kind of that mid-year, but I was impressed because budget amendment was left to 2 pages and not 4 for a big portion of the year, so I was happy with that, because that's less work for me.
Well, it is, and I have to say, I'm kind of surprised. I think we're doing pretty well considering the conditions that we're having to face at the moment, and,
Yeah, it was, wow. And some of them are just simple little things that maybe we spent it out of the wrong object code or budgeted the wrong object code, so it's just a matter of making some minor changes. But I'm happy this year, because it hasn't been quite this easy. Now, knock on wood, I don't want to jinx it, but it's made things a little easier right now to get other things done with not having to have so much of this to do. And we appreciate you guys, too,
Well,
for
thank
being our
you.
support,
Thank you for
because we
that.
couldn't do it without you. Work as team, right?
That's
Teamwork.
right, that's right.
So that makes it easier for all of us.
Okay.
I'll leave you want me to keep the envelope for the senior MOU, or give it to Ann, or?
You have it there, Mike.
What's that?
Did you pass that to Ann, the MOU, or you have it there?
I'll give it to Ann then.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's a good time to check in with you.
Yeah,
Mid-year.
Thanks, Debbie.
we're about a month off.
Yeah. Okay, very good. Yeah, and then I'll just give everything back to you. Okay, thank you.
Okay, next up is Nicole Brown, Community Development Planner.
I'm happy to give my update now, or do you want to move on since I know we're behind schedule? Because I do also have a county board appointment.
Okay.
But I'm going to gather my documents from you so I can clear up some space. I guess I didn't really wait for an answer. I made an assumption. Thank you.
So we will move on to Mike Myers replaced the fire alarm at the Senior Citizen Center.
What's this?
Oh, he gave you the wrong.
I think you gave me the wrong one.
I think you want this.
Oh, I'm sorry, that one right there. I'm sorry.
Interested in subdivision.
I'm sorry. Yep.
Okay, so the fire alarm over at the senior center, the board is smoked on it. And I think it would be a wise idea to get it replaced because they do a lot of cooking over there. So it's a monitoring fee per year, $357, which monitors and sends a signal, tells the sheriff's department to call 911 if there's a fire over there. And the installation of the equipment is $2,794.
Okay.
So I think it's a must that we do it.
Okay.
Not sure what that is.
How long do you think it'd take them to do this, Mike?
Half a day.
Half a day? They can get these parts fairly quickly?
Mm-hmm. By a few weeks.
Okay. So is it, I guess, just want to make sure this is a complete new system, right?
Complete new system.
Because the old one is outdated and parts aren't available.
Yeah, it's an old system. You can't even get parts for it.
Right. Okay. Well, I think it's pretty important for us to have that system operational over there. Could we pay for this out of their PILT funds?
Yeah, we should be able to.
The yearly maintenance should probably come out of either my fund or out of senior center.
Okay.
So I could tag that along with the fire suppression, the
Good, yeah. You do
Yeah, I
that?
could do that, yep.
Okay.
Is there any other discussion? Any other public comments? We will entertain a motion to approve the replacement of the fire alarm system at the Senior Citizen Center.
So I'll make that motion to replace the fire alarm system at the senior center with the equipment installation, $2,794 coming from our PILT funds, and the monitoring fee of $357 a year will be taken care of by maintenance department.
Is there a second?
I'll second that motion.
Motion been made and second to approve replace the fire alarm system at the Senior Citizen. Is there any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same. Motion passes. Okay.
Get it taken care of.
Okay, thank you, Mike.
Next, Mike Myers, open RFPs for generator and security system.
You guys want the honor to open them? There's a few of them. You want to open them, or you want me to open them? Doesn't matter.
You can move on.
Okay. Maybe I won't be able to.
We didn't bring you anything to do that with, did we?
Okay, I'm not sure who this one is. This is for the electronic door part. Now we have a lot of different bids for a lot of different things. This is through PhotoScan Northwest out of Missoula and Billings. They have a total of $17,804 on that portion. They also bid on the camera system upgrade. And their proposal for that was $58,787. And we will have to go through a lot of these. The next one is, don't know. Out of Bozeman Pine Cove Consulting. And this is a camera system for $11,482.58. And that's all they did on that. So we got TWE for the generator, on the generator bed. We're going to probably skipping around a little bit. For $131,523.77. And that's with electrical and the generator. Here's BSE for excavation. We're doing all the excavating, compacting, $16,800. And we have Burdicks, which would be cameras and locks again. For the camera system, what they came up with was $5,882. And the lock system was $14,719. Odds they're a little low. Then we got frontline glass for replacing clerk and recorder's window for bulletproof and adding window up in clerk of courts. And I'm not sure how they have this laid out. Okay, 16,576. That's for new pass-through windows. Not sure who this is. Fusion Excavation for $26,593.75. That's for the excavating for the generator. We have Cooney Locks, which is locks and camera system again. For the key access locks, $11,950. For the camera system upgraded, $7,825.99. Then we have another generator bid. This is for John Deere for the generator. $109,962.55. And we got another one here. Not sure what this is for. Lamb. Boy, they really sealed some of these. This is for excavation. Belgrade. For $25,675.
Okay, what's the name of the company again, Mike?
Who?
What's the name of the company?
Lamb, L-A-M,
Okay.
Company, Construction Performance. Lance Lamb. And we have another excavation bid. I think this one's out of Great Falls. Do you believe? For $21,992. So we got multiple bids on everything except for the windows. So we had a pretty good turnout, I think.
Yeah, that's good. That's really good. So you'll make a spreadsheet for us, Mike, that
Yep.
kind of show who all the vendors are and their,
And I'll sit down with Mike and
okay.
we'll go through them when we have time, either today or tomorrow. So,
Okay.
all right. Well, thanks.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for doing that.
Thanks, Mike. Okay, Nicole, are you ready, or?
I am ready whenever you are, yep. Don't want you to be off schedule.
Okay.
So department updates.
so busy with land use developments, which is great. I get, oh gosh, anywhere from 2 to 7 calls per day or emails, and Helen can attest to that. It's been a blessing having her take over the phone on folks speculating on what does it take to subdivide in Broadwater County. Can this land be subdivided in Broadwater County? Access roads. So I'm meeting with potential developers once weekly, either via phone or in person. Obviously, you see the developments that are coming in that I bring in. We had 2 finalized today, which will be nice to get those off the board. I have 2 public hearings tomorrow at the planning board level, so you'll be seeing those developments shortly. You won't see them next Monday, but the Monday after possibly, if the planning board makes their recommendation. So it's just a lot going on. Everyone wants to be here, as I think you've discovered or noticed.
I think, didn't Sean tell us a couple weeks ago that at this time yet last year he only issued 3 septic permits, and now he's issued 27?
27,
I
yeah.
think so.
I have had to limit assigning addresses to Thursdays. I used to, if and I shouldn't say that, if someone does make an appointment or they happen to be in the courthouse and I can assign their address, I will. But these mail-in ones, Thursdays are my only day that I can carve out time to assign addresses, and it's just nonstop. I think with this weather, it has put a little bit of a damper on construction, but still people are buying. Just now sitting here, I'm emailing surveyors, folks buying lots and want to know what's required of them. So it's not slowing down. So
Do you see more activity south end of the county, north end?
absolutely
Divided
south
everywhere?
end.
South end.
And I can get together at some point in time. Every address I assign, I have Helen input it into an Excel spreadsheet so we can see by calendar year, when the growth is occurring. But I can tell just by looking at my GIS map where the consolidation of homes is, and it's definitely the south end. There's so much activity occurring down there. So, and I think with our fabulous new bridge and road construction out there, that's only going to improve that. And with the TED moving forward, typically anytime from it was almost like it was Thanksgiving to Valentine's was slow season. And this year there was no slow season. There is no slowing down. People are still moving forward with their plans. Again, that's not so much the construction side of it, but planning for development. So subdivision regulations are coming along just as rapidly, thankfully.
Yeah.
And I do tell folks, that are calling speculating, they want our regulations. Absolutely, here you are. But before you submit a plan, please call back or look to our website, because these regulations may be changing soon. It's been really great having Jerry assist us, planning board, with the subdivision regulations. So
And we're still on track.
we are still on track with
our
those.
timeframe
Yep.
that we laid out. Good.
Yep. Yeah. So tomorrow's going to be a very long planning board meeting. I have 2 subdivision submittals for the planning board to review. I have 2 public hearings, and then we have subdivision regulations. So there are 4 subdivisions on the agenda for planning board tomorrow. So we're going to try and get through those, and then subdivision regulations, because I don't want to put those off. But it may get to a point where we have to schedule working meetings as opposed to regular business meetings for the subdivision regulations, which is also difficult because my planning board is volunteer, similar to
Sure.
all other boards in the county. So
Yeah.
I don't want to burden them too much.
Well, we appreciate all the work that they do for us.
Oh, me too,
And we
definitely.
Truly rely on them for their guidance, so.
And we do have 2 new planning board members, as you know, but just so the public is aware. So hopefully that will, we're still looking for 1 more planning board member if anyone's interested.
Okay.
There's a
That was
lot
gonna be
going
my
on.
next question. We still have one more to
Still have
fill.
1 more vacancy, correct.
Okay.
Indeed. With the GIS side of it, that is something that we'll have to discuss here soon. I've spoken with the Sheriff's Department. They are due for an update. Seth was in charge of receiving those updates, and they have a third-party company that does something with my data. I honestly don't even know what. I ship them off the files. I would send them to Seth Wenzel. He would send them to this third party. They would come back into their dispatch call center. So that hasn't been done. And I have reached out to the sheriff's department, letting them know that, we need an update. There's a lot of new addresses going in and new roads. So I think that's all. Parks and Rec, not a whole lot going on right now.
Okay.
Still trying to fill 3 vacancies on the Parks and Rec board. Shameless plug.
Yeah, yeah. And I know this is something that we discussed and possibly using Great West Engineering to help with the addressing on River Road. So.
Yep, and I think I have a good plan moving forward on that.
Okay.
River Road, the point of origin, there was a differentiation from forever ago before we had ArcGIS or an electronic format for addressing. So I know some folks are going to be unhappy because some addresses will change out there on River Road, but that's unfortunately what we have to do in order to bring everything into compliance and back into alignment. The way my GIS system worked previously, I would click on a point on the map, at the driveway point, and it would give me an address. With this new ArcGIS that I'm using, an ArcMap, I don't have that feature, so I have to physically map it all. And so, anyway, not to go too deep, but the previous program where I would click on the map, the road was measured at a different length, if that makes sense, which is how the addresses got askew. But there's about 10 of them that need to be readdressed.
Okay.
Coming back for my purposes, when do you expect the new subdivision rules, regulations to be?
Oh, realistically, I know we wanted them in March. That was our original hope. The planning board, and I say we, I'm not a board member, but took a little bit longer going through the updates at the last 2 meetings. So realistically, beginning of April. And I don't want to keep putting it off. I know I want this done and the planning board wants this done, but they did have some questions, some valid questions that they needed answered before they were prepared to just move forward. So
Yeah. I think there was a timeline with that grant too that we had to meet.
there is.
So.
So if we can have Jerry, I believe that we have to be done with Great West by March, which is fine. We can carry it the rest of the way because in Montana Code Annotated, the county commissioners have to advertise for 30 days before you hold a public hearing on accepting amendments to the subdivision regulations. But we don't need Great Western or Jerry to do that administrative part of it.
So at what time would they become effective? The date we adopt them, or is there any retroactive date involved in there at all, or?
The day you adopt them is when they would become effective.
Okay.
So you could hold your public hearing similar to what you do at your meetings now. You could hold your public hearing, close that, open up regular business meeting and adopt, but it does have to be advertised for 30 days ahead of time, which is why the April timeline. I just don't see this happening. It certainly is not happening 30 days from tomorrow, so. Do you have any questions?
Does anything apply before that date of adoption date? It applies to the old rules,
That's correct.
right up to the date of adoption?
That's correct.
Okay.
All right.
Do you have anything else for us? Do you have the board appointment that we were looking at?
I do, actually. So this is a letter from Don Reynolds, dated this is for the solid waste board vacancy. Ms. Reynolds is requesting to be appointed to the board. This is dated January 21st, 2021. Dear Commissioners, I'm writing to express interest in being a member of the Broadwater County Solid Waste Board if there is a current opening. I have served on the board twice in the past. At the time, I was an employee with the City of Helena Solid Waste as a scale operator. Through the years, I was involved in many aspects of solid waste, dispatching customer roll-offs, compiling data, participating in special events. Being a part of that department gave me insight into the principles of effective solid waste management. Having recently retired, I feel my 11 years of experience in solid waste, combined with my past service on this board, makes me a great fit for the opening. Though much has changed since I have left the Broadwater County Solid Waste Board, it would be an honor to be able to serve on this board. Thank you for your consideration. Sincerely, Don Reynolds, Winston, Montana.
All right, and that would give us a full board then?
That's correct.
Perfect.
Thank you. Anything else?
Nothing from me?
Okay. So is there a motion to appoint Don Reynolds to the Solid Waste Board?
I'd make the motion to appoint Don Reynolds to the Solid Waste Board.
Is there a second?
I will second that.
The motion's been made and seconded to appoint Don Reynolds to the Solid Waste Board for a term of 3 years.
Correct.
Yep.
Because, if I can interject here, I'm sorry. John Williams, I believe, his term was expiring this year and he decided to not reapply. So this is a brand new 3-year term.
Okay.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Any further discussion? Any public comment? Take a vote. All in favor? Aye. Pose the same. Motion carries.
Super. Thank you.
Thanks, Nicole.
Thank you, Nicole. Okay, Josh Obert, reorganization of the road department.
Morning. So I had supplied you with the budget breakout that Miss Debbie was able to give to us. It would look to be about an increase of $59,160 in wages and a budgeted $1,755 for OT would be a full year's hit for that pay. We do have that money within our budget currently. We're, as Ms. Debbie said, we're 58% through the year and we're running at 37% spent. We haven't touched any of our BARSA funding or our gas tax funding. We have all the money currently within our department to do it without requesting any for this year and going forward. We've changed how we do business a little bit, and it's generated some gap in our budget, and we'd be able to modify the road department, including a 5th person. And we do have the funding to be able to do a 3-year purchase for the grader, as we discussed last year, and still look at additional pieces of equipment like Lewis and Clark if they decide to surplus one of their plows and sanders.
Thank you.
What's your time frame to do something like this?
With knowing that we're going to be 2 weeks out at least on hiring, as soon as I get the approval, I'll post the position and then run the opening for 2 weeks and then begin interviews. So we're looking at hopefully having them on first week of March. That lets us get us through the training process, get them certified and signed off on some equipment before spring hits and the busier time hits. And that way, if we get the crews modified to where we have the 2-man project crew, we can start with some of our smaller scale projects that we have planned. So if it's approved, we'll be talking to Michelle today and hopefully getting it posted.
So you have the money in there from your budget for this fiscal year?
This fiscal year and moving forward, we've changed how we do business. There's a lot of it was diesel expenditure on travel, and we've been getting better about leaving equipment in different districts at the end of the day instead of continually bringing it back to the road department over and over and over again. And there was a lot of purchasing that was wants and not needs. We've slimmed down to where we're just purchasing needs. We chose not to, you can see in here, we were budgeted for a quarter of the year for a mower. In the summertime, we chose not to hire a seasonal mower. We did that in shop or in-house. That'll become one of the duties for the 5th person, so that frees up an additional $13,000. Out of the funding, out of the $59,000, 13 and some change is already budgeted currently, $13,135.47 of it. That would pay a portion of the 70-30 split. We typically haven't used any of our bridge funding, which that would pay 70% of this wage. And most of the repairs have always come out of the general road fund. So a lot of this, since this will be a project spot, they'll be doing the culvert replacements, they'll be doing stormwater. A perfect example is stormwater project in Crow Creek drainage. That's all bridge funding that could be used on that project, so it makes sense that a proportionate or a large proportionate share would come out of the bridge department funding. And then the 30%, we've fairly well got it close right there just with our seasonal mower wage.
What's your plan to get, I know this project's been on the back burner for a while, and we need to get it forward, is the getting data into the, what's the name of the program again?
Pub work software.
Yeah.
If we're able to do that, that'd be a perfect thing for the projects crew to work on over the winter. They'd be able to drive around, mark culverts, they'd be able to enter data easily. I mean, beyond planning for their next year's projects, beyond being kind of the QRF to assist the maintenance workers in their area for snow removal, that would be an easy thing for them to be able to accomplish. And having TJ being kind of the project's foreman, he's got the most experience beyond Willie in the county. He'd be able to enter in the data very easily. We are going to be using, trialing out the chemical mower this year with the weed department, and that'll assist us greatly in the mowing effort that that'll take forward. So we've identified a road that we're going to trial it on to see how well it works. But to answer your question, Commissioner Randolph, we have the money going forward just by how we've changed doing business. A lot of it was heavy diesel fuel expenditure, bringing the equipment back every night, and that just is unnecessary window time on very expensive equipment, and it's a lot of diesel expenditure, and it's less man-hour working time.
Okay. And the plan is to stage equipment on that south end of the county to prevent all this from happening, right?
Yep, and we're looking into where we can stage in all 3 areas. Duck Creek Fire is one of them, and the Winston area is a little more difficult right now finding a place to get a large piece of equipment in. Winston Fire really doesn't have that real estate there, so we're still working towards finding a long-term winter solution in place to put it. This way they would be able to do their morning toolbox first thing in the morning, then they're just in their pickup. And it's a pickup drive to the equipment instead of roading a grader at 27 miles an hour all the way across the county and putting unnecessary hours on it. But this remodel will allow us to meet the growth rate that our county's experienced, that Nicole has talked about. We'll have a maintenance crew, we'll have a minor projects crew, and then for any major projects, that would be your subcontracted out to tier 3s. But as the county continues to grow, then these departments can grow proportionately if needed.
I think in the last time you spoke with us, you kind of had identified the areas, the
Yep.
3 different areas?
3 different areas right now. It'd be 3 maintenance workers. It'd be Radersburg Highway, north on the west side of the lake, 16 Mile, north on the east side of the lake, and then both 16 Mile and Radersburg Highway south. And then that's kind of what we're going to go with to start with. We'll see as we go, like east or west side of the lake has fewer county roads. It does have River Road, which is a longer stretch, but within this first year or so, we'll be able to see if we need to adjust those maintenance areas any. And once again, one of the things that they fought with the way it currently is all the road crew is incredibly busy throughout the entire summer, spring and fall, and then they get into the winter and snow season. They pile up a lot of comp time, they pile up a lot of vacation time, and they can't really take it without being a detriment to the county. With having this projects crew, they'll be able to use vacation throughout the rest of it. We won't end up with those big piles where we get the report from Miss Debbie at the end of the year and 3/4 of my shop's in use or lose. So this will end up helping out that substantially as well. Also, the projects crew, as I've talked with you guys briefly about, I'm hoping to schedule them Tuesday through Friday. Right now, the road crew all operates Monday through Thursday. By shifting the project crew one day, that'll eliminate 1/3 of our overtime call out. So where we have budgeted at least 1/3 of that, we'll have 2 operators on call if we have a day like today. If it was Friday, everybody'd be coming in. And it would be solid overtime. So by shifting them, it'll still give them 3 days that they can work in conjunction with each other, and it cuts down 1/3 of our call out.
Right. And then you got coverage here 5 days a week.
Yep.
Rather than 4. Okay.
If you had a project for an area, would you shift that district guy to Thursday to Friday versus Monday so that they have 3 to work on that project? Or
It depends on the scale of the project.
Okay.
And if we're at a point where if we know that if we're doing multiple culvert replacements and the road would end up being closed because we didn't have that 4th day, then yeah, we would look to either shift the 2-person project crew that week or shift the maintenance worker in that area. But in talking with TJ, we feel that if we have three consecutive days they can work in conjunction, we wouldn't be leaving a road impassable. We may have it down to a lane until the next week, but I don't feel like we'd have to shift people all that often. One of the other pieces of equipment I've been looking at briefly at purchasing, and it's a fairly low dollar cost. It's a towable magnet. We use them on the North Slope all the time. When they ended up purchasing one, they reduced our flat tire repair by about 70%. And we purchased new tires for TJ's grader at the beginning of last fiscal year. He had 2 flats in a week. One was a big bolt he'd shoved through, and one was a 16-penny nail. And at $40 or $50 a tire repair, it doesn't take long before that adds up to several $1,000s, which ends up, and it's something that I'll talk with you guys more in the future, but it was definitely worthwhile for us in my previous occupation. Like everything's dirt roads, and you get some washboards and some potholes, and it doesn't take long before nails and all the rest start to fall out. You guys have any other questions for me?
I don't.
No? Right,
Thank you, Josh.
Yeah. Are you looking for us to approve that additional employee today?
Yes, sir.
All right. I guess, Debbie, since you're here, I know that you've worked with Josh on this, and you're feeling comfortable with doing this.
I do.
Okay.
We've been putting money into the bridge.
Mm-hmm.
That was something Sean, WWC, told us we should have been doing years and years ago to help the culverts. They've always taken that out of the road fund, so it makes sense.
Right.
to tie it into that, and yeah, they've only spent 37% of their budget in combination. So they really cut some corners, and the overtime's big. That will change, and I know the bargaining agreement is scheduled to be reevaluated. I think it comes due. So that will be something to look at too, to help with overtime.
Yeah.
Outlined in it right now, if they're getting, they take a vacation day, then we have a holiday, and then they put in extra time on a Saturday, they're getting paid overtime and 40 plus, and that's hurting his budget too. So, fell through the cracks last year.
Okay.
So it makes sense, and we've often wondered why the equipment doesn't sit somewhere, so I think that's a good idea too, just from my own personal curiosity. That makes sense. Yes, he's got a strong budget. The road's had a pretty strong budget most of the years I've been here. They haven't really had a lot of issues.
Well, Josh, you have done a great job in budget, managing your budget this year. I commend you for that. And I guess I've always thought that having an additional road employee to help us get over these roads always made sense to me. And I guess this is something I would support.
So is there a motion to approve the additional crew member for the road department?
I would move, excuse me, to approve the additional employee for the road department as Josh Obert has suggested in his budget.
I will second that.
The motion's been made and seconded to approve an additional crew member for the road department. Is there any further discussion? Any public comment? Seeing none, take a vote. All in favor? Aye. Opposed, the same. Motion carries. Okay, 11 o'clock, EMPG grant signature required, Brittany Willis, DES.
Morning, Brittany.
Pretend it's 11. Hi.
Morning, Brittany.
We all will.
I just have a couple of papers here that need signatures so I can submit my EMPG grant for 2021-2022. It is due at the end of February. They're doing a new application system, so they are having all of the applications due early.
Okay. So maybe for those that don't know, maybe explain what EMPG is and what this grant is about.
So the Emergency Management Performance Grant not only funds my position, but it funds some of the projects that I feel our county needs to work on, or like, for example, this year we did ask for a little bit of a raise to see if we can get it, so that I can work on our EOC up at the fairgrounds to make it a little more not only user-friendly but helpful. As of currently, there's like water and internet.
Okay. So you could ask for additional funding to help with this project.
Right. So right now it's only 5%, I believe, was the number. So it in total is $2,500 extra, and I have that here in the paperwork in the funding letter. If you guys want to look at it, and then there is my time certification form, and then our assurances form in here as well. It just says that I will, commit 100% of my time, my 24 hours a week, to working on projects or the grant or grants anybody else asks for help with, which Search and Rescue has come to me asking for help on a Homeland Security grant. So I just sat down with one of them this morning to go over that.
What other kind of grants have you been involved in? Were you involved with helping Mike at all in any of his grants, or?
No, by
No,
the
okay.
time that happened, he was already getting his
That
closing
had already
orders and
taken
stuff.
place, hadn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I think you worked with probably Mike Conkey on a lot of that, didn't you? Okay. But those would be examples of some of the grants that you could work on.
Right.
Okay.
Well, I'm gonna look into the ConocoPhillips 66 as well for search and rescue, see if they can't help fund them in this big project that they have.
Okay.
And then the Homeland Security grant, we're gonna try to put that in. It's due March 5th, on top of both of mine.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
and I don't know if they'll give us the raise, but if they don't, then I will have another form with less 2,500.
Okay.
So is there a motion to approve the EMPG grant?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to sign and approve the EMPG grant.
I'll second that.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the EMPG grant for the Department of Emergency Services. Is there any further discussion? Any public comment? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, pose same. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You have to give it.
Let me copy this and then I'll put it in your mailbox. Okay,
All right,
thank you.
Is there anything else to come before the commission then?
I don't.
Nothing from me.
All right, we will adjourn at 11:59.
Thank you.
So you got some work to do there, Mike.